You are now tuned into
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Outside Insider Show, where we go over everything Eagles related over the past few days. And there's a lot to catch up on since Monday's euphoric rant. I feel like it was therapy. We got a lot out of our system, but now the seas have calmed temporarily, and we have to discuss a few different waves that have been cooking through the Philadelphia waterfront. The River Scully, or whatever it's called, that one. True Philadelphian here. There's a lot to go over. We've got Brian Johnson somehow, some way being targeted by the Panthers. He's not gone to Carolina looking for a job. Carolina have come to Philadelphia and requested an interview with Brian Johnson, which to me is like the greatest news, the funniest news. It's like something out of an SNL skit. We're going to talk about all of that in today's show. On top of this random new pressing movement on Nick Sirianni, guilty, I've been at the front of it. But I feel like a week ago, there was a report from, I think it was ESPN, saying that Sirianni's job is definitely not under pressure. And then a week later, Sirianni's job is definitely under pressure. So you don't really know how to gauge these things, how to feel. So we've got plenty to discuss in this evening's show. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I know we're live across our Twitter, our YouTube, and our Facebook page at the minute. If you could leave a like or a retweet or whatever it is, wherever you're watching, just to support the show, that would be absolutely tremendous. And leave a comment, say hello, let us know where you're listening from. We'll get to some of your comments, Kaywan. There are no graphics, I'm afraid, purely because I've been a bit busy. Been a busy day today, busy day at the office. But doesn't mean the rant is over. All right, there could be a part two, very easily a part two. Isaac's in, Wins Sports is in, and Kaywan says, how did that rant? Alone in what I felt. And there's still more that comes with it, I think. And I suppose you have to now dive straight back into those waters, I'm afraid. Roll up your sleeves, grab your pitchforks. It's time to go to war again. Battlehawk Superfan, no hot seat, no. Now you know... Potentially, I have a crush on the giraffe Spice Girl. Is that from the hang on, I'm right. I'm a bit sleepy today, so someone's gonna have to bear with the giraffe Spice. That feels like a reference to the show from a few weeks back where we found like the tour thing, like on eBay. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just a coinky dink. Who's to say? Talk about the elephant in the room with Howie Roseman, says Greg Moody. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But let's start with Howie Roseman, okay? Because I mentioned on Monday's show that to me, Howie Roseman should absolutely be on the hot seat because there's no way that getting to a 10-win team, then going 1-5, nearly choking. Well, you did choke the NFC East, limping into the playoffs, should be rewarded with anything other than just strict, like either whether do they do warnings in the NFL? Can you give a head coach a written warning? Who's to say? But for me, Howie Roseman should take an executive stance and say that Nick Sirianni just isn't panning out right now for what this team needs. The team needs something different, and it's not Nick Sirianni. And I feel like we're at catch-22 right now where fans cannot say or actively call for Nick Sirianni's head or firing, that you can't sit there and say, hey, Nick Sirianni's not been good enough, because then, again, you're a hater and you're negative, and how will the team ever get better? And you made the playoffs 3 years in a row. Right. This Eagles team, I've been thinking about it, as you can probably tell, that the hair says it all. We are in a slight crisis now because of the Eagles. This Eagles team is elite. We say it every week, from top to bottom, offensively at least. We can ignore the defense for the sake of this argument. But offensively, they're an elite team. They should be a top 5 offense in most metrics across the league. The defense in the start proved good enough to be in the top 10 in most metrics across the league. You are paying fans, okay? You love this team. This is the team you were born with. Many of you are raised up Eagles fans. You wear the logos on your sweaters. You wear them on caps. You wear them on polos. You get bottles, backpacks, tickets, everything to support this team. You fund this team. And to have your standard all of a sudden like criticized because apparently, Nick Sirianni made the playoffs 3 years in a row. It's not fair. Like, you have every right to be discontent with the fact that this is a team that should be destined for greatness, that has all the blueprint and makings possible of an elite team, and it will be...
It's got to stop happening. We are in a horrific time with the microphone.
We're back. Right, we're cool. Like, you cannot really be a fan and be dissatisfied with the coaching scenario and then have to hold that in. Like, that's just not fair. There's no way this team should get to where it is now, which is limping into the playoffs, in the way they've done it. It's not the fact that they've lost 5 games out of the last 6 and they've gone, oh, well, at least we're in the playoffs, guys. It's the fact that they literally end up throwing the games. The offense looks identical on a weekly basis. The defense looks identical on a weekly basis. So they make a change on defense. That goes tits up because Matt Patricia starts just rewiring everything, rewording everything, trying to make his players now do the alphabet backwards instead of forwards. Like, that's going to have any impact. And there's just total, like, disarray. This isn't anything like that has been externally inflicted. It's all self-inflicted problems. If Nick Sirianni, maybe let's say he's gone into the Dallas game and they lose 35-34 because of a phantom PI on the last play of the game. Then they go into Seattle. The Seattle game, the Seattle game can happen as it did. That was basically a throwaway anyway. And then you go into maybe the second game against the Giants, week 18, and it's a really tightly contested contest, and the Giants somehow get a turnover. That would be different. The fact that none of that's happened, the Eagles aren't losing close games. They're not being played better. Name me one team in the last 6 games that has played better than the Eagles, that has deserved to win that game more than the Eagles. You can't, because it just hasn't happened. So the fact that Howie Roseman has to look at this and say, wow, my head coach is doing absolutely nothing. He is being given problem after problem after problem, and nothing is changing. I'm sure you can all imagine in your own line of work, whether it's school, college, work, whether it's an office job, whether it's active, whatever it may be, that if you're in a scenario where your manager or supervisor, whoever, doesn't implement a process because something's going wrong with your business, and it happens again and again and again and again, and nothing changes, eventually you want to leave. Eventually you want out because you're not being heard. There's no value to it. And this Eagles team at the minute is just pigs to slaughter. It is just they're being led into the slaughterhouse, knowing that it doesn't matter what they do. Like, I saw another thing yesterday. I had a massive rant about how I said that the Eagles players, sure, they've got to be accountable. Like, that's the nature of football. But to people saying that they're not executing, like, and that's still a thing. And it happened again yesterday. There was a thing that, it's just the Eagles players need to really execute better, man. Here's a few random PFF stats. When the wind blows west at 2 miles an hour on a Wednesday afternoon, James Bradbury gains 3 steps per minute. Shut up. Like, it's not that. You cannot just roll out the same thing again and again and expect a different result. And the fact that they've lost 6 games or 5 games, whatever it is, because of just negligence. It's not because they're playing bad. It's not because they're throwing games away. It's because there is a core issue on both sides of the ball. Neither are being addressed. I tell a lie, defense-wise, it got worse. But it's not being addressed offensively. The blueprint was out on how to beat this team by San Francisco. It was made obvious by San Francisco. You'd think after a butt whooping like that, after a slap in the face, after a humiliation like that, against a team that is a championship team, you know your paths will cross again. If you're to win the NFC Championship, chances are you've got to beat the best. You're going to see San Fran again. You come away from that game with your tail between the legs and you go, nah, we're fine. Wow, we're fine. And it is just complacency. It is just sheer complacency. And you get humbled again and humiliated again and embarrassed again. And you sit there so caught up in your own bubble of, yeah, we're the Eagles. We are underdogs. Like, is it just toxic at this point? Are they putting themselves in holes just so they can put on an underdog mask, stroll out and win a game in the playoffs? Like, I don't know. But it starts at the top. It does not start at the bottom. And if it does start at the bottom, technically it starts at the top. Because think of it this way. if you're a manager of a team or you run a business and there are rumblings at the bottom, maybe a player wants a new contract and he's frustrated. Maybe there's a fallout. Maybe there's a fracture in the locker room somewhere and it doesn't get addressed. That is very much a problem up top. Any problem on the field is a problem off of it. And that isn't trying to sound like Michael Scott. It just is. If you're not performing and someone at your job isn't performing, it's just as much as the manager's responsibility as it is the players. Always has been, always will be. Because you cannot have great players shining in bad scenarios. It just doesn't happen. And the Eagles now to be at a point where, again, this is happening a week before the playoffs. You've got ESPN national media coverage talking about job security with Nick Sirianni. Oh, you are days away from a playoff matchup. Days away, right? Nothing gets out in the media unless someone wants it out. And my honest guess is that that's been put out by someone in the Eagles front office to light a fire under Sirianni's ass, to get him to actually react to something, to get him to actually respond and to change and to adapt. Because right now, I feel like you can go, Nick, your house is on fire.
Yeah, Brian, call that QB draw, mate. Yeah, run that back.
Brian, oh my God, your wife has left you for a really handsome young British guy called Liam.
Yeah, remember that wide receiver screen? Yeah, that's perfect, Brian. Do that again.
Like, nothing is touching the surface. Nothing is getting through to him right now. So there has to be something. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was it. That someone's just gone, hey, Tim or whoever the reporter was to put it out, we are considering Nick Sirianni's future with this team. I thought you should know as our favourite bestie reporter. And they've gone, cheers, mate. And they've just slammed it in. And that's as easy as it gets. Let's go through some of your comments because I don't want to spend the next 50 minutes just ranting again. The hair makes you look more like Christopher Hitchens like every day. Let's have a look at who that is. Is Christopher Hitchens the one who plays Count Dooku? I know he died, didn't he? So it's probably not him. Christopher, let's have a Google at this then, shall we? I can't spell. Let's get this in. Christopher Hitchens. Oh, come on. Oh, he's bald for a start. He's bald. You can't tell me that. No. Stop it. That's horrible. That's the what. He looks all right there, to be fair. He don't look too bad. He looks like a strapping young lad, but maybe that one. Why would you tell me that? I'm already having a crisis about the Eagles. I don't need to be told I look like that. What the fuck? I cannot believe what I've just seen. Can you see this on here? Or is it... Oh, it didn't work, did it? I've got to share him again. Just so we know, guys. I think I forgot to share the right tab. This is what I apparently look like. Are you taking the piss? I remind you of this guy with each passing day, do I? Christopher Hitchens on suffering, beliefs and dying. Well, that's an average Eagles stream for me anyway now, isn't it? If we're being honest. That's an average Eagles stream. Average day at the office. Is this the right Christopher Hitchens? Is this what we're on about? Oh my God, it's you. What are you talking about? Look at the younger version. That's old Chris Hitchens. Anyway, we need to find the young Chris Hitchens. I cannot believe what I am being told right. This is remarkable. You look like it. Really? I don't see that. I don't see that. He doesn't look young in any of them. That's just me when I started vaping. Unbelievable. I cannot believe what I've just seen. Wow. Anyway, we'll go away from doing your comments now. I cannot believe what I've... You look like Christopher Hitchens. Right, we'll go back through. Sorry, the English flags. LJ got a new logo for the Outside Insider with a sneaky English flag in there. No, it's always been there. I mean, I guess it's just hidden in thumbnails, but it is there. I need to promote it more because originally I want to start putting it on like football shirts, and that'd be cool because it's like a soccer jersey. I think it look quite cool. Low expectations this week, says Tom P. Can't be upset if you don't expect to win. True, but you can just be like stoically disappointed, if that makes sense. Like if you have no expectations and they still don't meet them, you're like, oh great. Like I don't think there's any reason for optimism. There's not a single reason to be optimistic other than the fact that there's one stat about blitzing where Tampa Bay blitzes a lot or something and the Eagles are bad at protecting it. Shock. And something like that. Like there's nothing that screams oh my God, the Eagles are in the playoffs. Like, how sad is that? Right, on another level, how sad is it that we are in the NFL playoffs, okay? You've got the Chiefs and the Dolphins squaring off in a Rock versus John Cena matchup. Voices in the air, right, everywhere. On your left, you've got the Houston Texans and, CJ Stroud, young upcomer, against Joe Flacco, my best mate, and now Cleveland Brown looking for a miraculous Nick Foles run. God, the NFL playoffs are good. What about what happens over the weekend? My God, don't get me started. What about prime time, Monday night? Whatever's left of the Eagles taking on the Bucs on the road in Tampa. I'm up till 4 a.m. watching it. The Eagles have lost 5 of their last 6. They couldn't beat what is it when you beat stuff to make a cake? They couldn't do that at the minute. They couldn't whip a horse. They couldn't do anything. See how sad that is? Like, to have that kind of emotion that, like, we're talking postseason football, playoffs, the run starts now, the chance at a Super Bowl. Eagles fans crave being underdogs. We love being backs against the wall. Like, our whole identity is us against the world, that it's everyone against Philadelphia. And somehow, now it is everyone against Philadelphia. I think even we're against Philadelphia. Like, it's us against the world, but it's... Again? We've got to do it again? The regular season wasn't enough punishment and torment. Now we've got to sit through it again. Like, even if they win, and I put an article out yesterday saying, like, even if the Eagles win, Sirianni should absolutely, categorically be on the hot seat because it's not acceptable. If he wins the Super Bowl, it does kind of exclude him from that. If he wins the championship, again, he's sort of exempt from that argument. But it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't somewhat undo that. If I smack you in the face, kiss you better, give you a plaster, and buy you a beer, doesn't take away from the fact I punched you in the face, does it? Do you know what I mean? So, regardless of what happens in the playoffs, I think Sirianni should absolutely be on the hot seat. And I'm sure we'll touch on that in a bit. Battlehawk Superfan says, where's Mr. Sandman? I'm not sure. We'll talk about Mike Vrabel. I mean, that name's come up today. I'd be all for it. He's a bit of a tougher candidate for head coach, someone that may be able to instict some sense of discipline on an Eagles team that sees Darius Slay retweeting and sharing pictures of Christian McCaffrey's outfit while being scolded for his team losing. So I'd very much like that in the locker room. You can count me all in on Mike Vrabel. Like, I don't really care about the Titans and what they've done or haven't done. I think their ownership is ass completely. They've made some of the most boneheaded decisions in recent memory, including sending A.J. Brown packing to the Eagles in the first place. So to have the coach of that team that is just working with whatever ruins he's left with actually have a team to coach would be quite cool. I feel like Sirianni could get one more year to put it together, and if he can't, fire him if he can keep him. Like, I don't know. I think for me, like, again, the issue is if you keep Sirianni more than this year, that if you start out flat next year, the wheels fall off so quick. Like, realistically, any chance there is of the Eagles like lighting a fire and flying, 5-6-0 next year is great. But the microscope will be like so zoomed in that you can see every little dimple and spot on his little silly face. All right, you can see every little wrinkle he's got on his forehead. It'll be that zoomed in because the pressure will be that high after almost messing it up this year. Like, to almost cock something up and not, you swipe the sweat from your forehead. You get given a second chance. If it starts wobbling again, I don't know how long that leash on Sirianni will be. Liam, what is your favourite Ban Chan? I'll be completely honest with you, Battlehawk Superfan. I don't know what a Ban Chan is. So I'll Google it and we'll find out. Ban Chan recipe. See, this is what I love about this stream, okay? We are in it. This is the Philadelphia Eagles stream. We are here ranting about the head coach and the playoffs. And I get asked what my favourite Ban Chan is. I've never heard of Ban Chan in my life. Apparently, they're small side dishes served with Korean rice and cuisine. Now, I'm genuinely intrigued. I can't lie. So is it just sort of like tapas, but not that, whatever that is. That looks horrendous. Ban Chan. Well, is there any like chicken? That looks like chow mein. I'll have a bit of that. Looks like some mango there. Can we got? Is it sushi? How did we get here? How did we get here? We're talking about Ban Chan. It's like Allen Iverson, but we're talking about Ban. I've never heard of it. Can we find something in English? Is there like crispy chili beef? Can I have that as banchan? I wouldn't mind that. They look like jalapenos. Absolutely not. There's some rice there, some mash, a nice orange. Yeah, I'll level with you. I couldn't tell you what any of it is. I have no idea. There's something with a hole in it there. Quite an inappropriate hole. Don't clip that. But it just looks like seaweed there. That one. That looks great. Whatever that is over here. That looks a bit beefy. Looks like some onion maybe. Yeah, if someone can, clean me up on what banchan is, that would be terrific. I've lost so many comments. Liam is a quintessential Eagles fan. Attention span of a mosquito. I know. I'm really sorry. All right, let's go back to some more comments that isn't about banchan because I have no idea. Liam's been waiting all day to unleash his. It's cathartic. I do like ranting about the Eagles. It does give me joy. I can't lie. It does help me feel at one with myself and the universe. It's how it helps you guys as well. So it works. Romalo White, thank you for hopping in, Romalo. I think it's your first time in the stream, or at least a comment, so thank you. This unbelievable point blank, it needs to be fixed. I'm not sure if he means my stream or Nick Sirianni. I think both would be valid. So we're going to keep that one there. I think that's a good comment there, Romalo. Thank you for sharing that. I honestly feel the talent on this team, especially on defense, is overestimated. That's a hot take. I like that. That might be a bit scorching. Defensively, I completely agree. Or do I? I don't know. Because defensively, Jalen Carter's Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jordan Davis is good, but apparently, again, the size of Godzilla. Fletcher's all right. BG's all right. Sweat's pretty good. Reddick's brilliant. Defensive line's not a qualm. And last year, Slay and Bradbury were two of the best corners in the NFL. Safety, Reed Blankenship is a fringe starter, I think, for most teams. If we're being honest, and I love Reed Blankenship, and I think he's great, and as a developmental guy that in 2-3 years' time will be a real key fixture on that defense, I think he is great. As of where he's at right now, if you're going to rate it if anyone that plays Football Manager, we have current ability and potential ability, right? Current ability out of 5, potential out of 5. I'd say Reed's 2.5 out of 5 current, probably 4 potential. Do you know what I mean? So he's there. 3 is about where he needs to be a firm starter on the team, to be a reliable, gamely contributor. And he is sort of there. The mistakes he makes sometimes can just be a bit costly. Unfortunately, the defense doesn't have the personnel. The offense has 0 excuses. Completely agree with that. You've summed that up beautifully. Howie's philosophy is around cap management, devaluing linebackers and safeties, but worse is how he handles coaching. Not sitting on sofas, I presume. Not getting coaches who can use the talent, instead getting a square peg. See, you can tell who listens to this stream. The intellect of the fans that we have, all right, as Eagles fans, we are building the next generation of general managers in these streams. I'm telling you now, it's fantastic. Even O-line's underperformed. Facts, I agree with that. I don't know how 3 of them were named Pro Bowlers. I swear Landon Dickerson missed 7 games. He didn't, but you know what I mean. Lane Johnson's been all right. Jason Kelsey's just solid, but he hasn't. It's weird with Kelsey, isn't it? Because Jason Kelsey's solid is better than most others, so by nature he should be a Pro Bowler. But he hasn't jumped off the page as much, I guess, in recent years. Wow, I'm so far behind in these comments. How Skip Bayless gets paid millions to spew nonsense and Liam has 16 viewers is a crime against humanity. I'll take that. That one's fine. I'll take that one. This is tremendous. And now we're into the Christopher Hitchens stuff. The progression from Joe Burrow the progression from Joe Burrow to modern Liam to Christopher Hitchens. I can't win. Can I just not be Liam? Can I just not be Liam for one day? Can I not just be me? I have to look like Sid the Sloth or something. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Eagles can beat an egg. That's what I was looking for earlier. Beat an egg. I didn't even know what I was on about when I said that. Paltero Pinger says Nick Stupidarni is on the hot seat right now. I agree with that. What a man. I very much agree with that, Paltero. Palatero, if I said your name right. What's your profile picture? Is that UFC? Is it boxing? Is it wrestling? I'm a wrestling fan. I'm having a look. I'm being nosy. Sorry. If it's wrestling, I'm interested. Sorry. Vrabel wouldn't be a good fit. But I don't know. I think we said this yesterday. I think that Like, realistically, if your front office cannot accommodate a coach because it runs things a certain way, that's not great. Like, if someone comes to PSN and they're an Eagles writer, but they want to talk about ballet, let them talk about ballet, and they're a phenomenal read. You'd be like, well, yeah, obviously, like, you're great at what you do. Like, add it to our coverage. We'll mold our coverage around it, and we'll start covering ballet. That's brilliant. I wouldn't go, nope, you're out. Best I've ever seen. Don't care. Not interested. See you later. Like, it's just not. It doesn't work like that, you know. If we fire Sirianni, Brian Johnson would cook this offense. That's to both go. It'd have to be a dual firing, I think. Everyone says Frank Reich, but no, he has not accomplished nothing. He's the reason why we got Nick. Yeah, I mean, there is a weird dynamic, isn't there? Like, have you noticed this, by the way? Like, it dawned on me earlier today. So the Eagles originally in a bit of a quibble. We're in a bit of a tricky scenario. And they fire a random underdog coach no one's heard of. Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, yeah. They then end up hiring an assistant coach from the Colts, Frank Reich, Shane Steichen, okay? Somehow both have ties to the Chargers as well, I believe. Or Sirianni did. Then it all gets a bit weird. So Howie Roseman, like, panics, pays a quarterback a lot in both scenarios. Then it does get a bit weird. Panics and adds someone like Golden Tate, or panics and adds someone like Kevin Byard, or panics and adds someone like the other year. That hasn't worked. Then the team's imploded. And now we're going towards a divisional round where the last time that Doug Peterson made the playoffs, he exited in the divisional round to Seattle, right? So there is a chance that the Eagles, unfortunately, repeat the most bizarre, like, ill-fated history thing imaginable, which is insane because the trajectories of these teams look so completely opposite, and yet somehow the further away, the closer they've been pulling together. Both had a coach that was unknown. Assistant Sin that used to be for Indianapolis. Links to the Chargers. End up paying a quarterback loads of money. Something goes tits up. Panic and buy free agents. That doesn't happen. Everything goes even more tits up. And then you end up in the divisional round potentially losing, where everything comes to a grinding halt. I do find that is a bit mental. So, you know, there is that. There is also a trend, right? And someone's going to have to double check this for me. But if you go and look at when Big Dom was suspended, what week was it? Let's have a look. It was the was it the Cowboys game? Big Dom sus. If I just type in Big Dom sus, that's going to come up with all sorts of weird shit, isn't it? Big sub little Dom has come up apparently. That's not Big Dog suspension. That's an actual car suspension? That's not what we want. December 9th. So it was the week before the Cowboys. Who was that? It was the Niners. It was the Niners. Okay. So if you look at the Niners, the Eagles lost that game. That was their first loss majorly, right? Then Dallas. It's all gone tits up since Big Dom. They were 10-0 with Big Dom on the sideline. Big Dom leaves the sideline, and now they're 11-5. All right? Maybe Big Dom was calling the shots, or maybe, like, I don't know, the other coach just got a bit scared and shat himself. I don't know, but there must be a link between Big Dom being on the sideline and then Big Dom not being on the sideline. Like, was there, like, I don't know. Look, we've all heard of Deflategate. We've all heard of what happened with the Patriots back in 2005. Was there maybe, we've all heard of the Astros, was there maybe something the Eagles are doing with Big Dom? Was like when Big Dom stands in a certain spot, it represents a certain coverage? Was it when Big Dom like leans over to tie his shoe, it means that a player's the mic? I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's really tall and he can see the other team's playbook. I don't know. But since Big Dom has left the sideline, the Eagles have gone spiraling out of control into utter chaos. Big Dom on the sideline, they're the best team in the NFL. And I don't really know what other link there is to make there, but I can't wait for some of your comments on it for sure. Let's get to some of your other ones. Where have we got? In terms of people who've called defense, Vrabel, Jesse Minter, Patrick Graham, and for people who haven't called plays, Denard Wilson. Denard Wilson could be interesting, just because of his former experience as a player. Obviously, like, there are ties there. I wouldn't mind that one. I genuinely don't know who I'd look at, and this is the thing. Like, my knowledge on coaches, I don't have knowledge on coaches outside of a lot. I do the research and I write the article, and that's how I learn about them. But yeah, I'll definitely do some digging for you. Vrabel, Florence Nightingale, and anyone who doesn't subscribe to the Fangio. Yeah, we might have to start the Fangio thing off. We might have to, get that in the bin. If we get rid of the Fangio nonsense, maybe we end up, in a slightly better scenario. There is that possibility. Just a quick shout as well. I haven't actually got a banner up for this, so I'll just put the other one, which is there. We do have a link in the description to an ESPN Bet promo, right? And I was meant to make, well, it's halfway through the show. You can call it an ad break if you want. So ESPN Bet, as many of you know who are over the age of 18 or 21, whatever it is over there to bet. ESPN Bet came on the scene. They've got a lovely app. They gave away some promos. Everyone got some free bets. It was cool. But now their sign-up promos are really shit, right? And if you sign up, you get $100. So you sign up, make a deposit, place a bet. They'll give you $100 to bet with for free, right? It's free money. It's class. However, right, we've got a link where in the description, if you click it, the code is Philly. It's the only Philadelphia code that ESPN Bet have given out. Not even ESPN have a Philly code. Not BGN, not NBC, all right? None of these, not all Philly, all right? The code Philly belongs to PSN, all right? You get $150 for signing up. So you sign up, deposit, put a bet on, and you get $150 for free. I'd say that's pretty good. Their regular sign-up offer is $100. The national sign-up offer for when it's on talk shows, I know it's not Pat McAfee, but that level of show is $100. We're one of the I don't know how many of us there are, but we're one of the very few companies that have a $150 sign-up promo. I don't know how we've got it or how long it's going to be there. But if you are looking to bet on the NFL playoffs and you haven't got a sportsbook account or you don't have an ESPN Bet account, if you sign up with the link below, use the code Philly in all capitals, you will get an extra $50 to bet with. And that's a lot of money, You can put that on a really obvious outcome, just take the money and run. Who's to say? It's a free shot, $150. You're welcome. So I thought I'd mention that. Again, it is in the description for you guys if you want to take advantage of it. And I guess it's one of the perks of doing what we do is that we can sometimes get some nice things for you guys. So, yeah, there you go. Have fun. Go bet your heart out. Be responsible, though. Let's not get silly with it. I'd only fire Sirianni for Johnson and nobody else. Reed's a Pro Bowl talent in a year. In a year or two. Nice to see you, Mark, by the way. Thanks for hopping in, as always. I'd say a year or two, 100%. The base is there. The upside is there. It's just that the current stuff isn't as strong. I'm literally 10 minutes behind on comments. Eagles have to make good with Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Absolutely not. I like him as a player. I feel like as a person, he does my head in because he's just like Darius Slay. If Darius Slay snorted coke every week, and it's bad enough with Darius Slay. So there's that. The defense on paper, we were hoping to be better in a lot of positions. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of emphasis placed on guys like Nakobe Dean, guys like Reed Blankenship. The corner position's a weird one because you have Maddox, Bradbury, and Slay, all of them proven veterans. All of them really should be able to mask a deficiency at safety or linebacker because they're that good. Like Maddox in the slot is a top 5 slot corner. Darius Slay was a top 5 corner. James Bradbury was a top 10. They should be able to create a shell for that Fangio scheme. And instead, they've just not done that. And it's gone all a bit haywire. So there is that. Let's get to some more. I'm going to try and scroll through a little bit. Is there betting on ballet and over or under 4 pirouettes? We might have to have a look. Maybe we should start covering ballet. Maybe we should. I've got the PF plus 35. Do you have Thai restaurants in the UK? We do. I actually went to one on a boat in Norwich. So I couldn't tell you what it was called, but it was on a boat. And it was very nice. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't tell you what I had. I feel like they were maybe dumplings or it was like a little bag that wasn't a bag. It was like pastry and there was cheese in it. Maybe it was a cheese dumpling. I'm not good with food. I promise I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just genuinely not good with food. I will make cauliflower cheese, put meatballs on top of it and put it back in the oven because I like both the flavors. Together, they don't go at all. But to me, I love both of them, so why not have 2 at once? And it's a chore to eat. But in my head, I'm like, you are being efficient right now. And, unfortunately, that's just where we're at this stage in my life. So I am trying to, I know what tapas is now. I went to Madrid last year and I tried all sorts. Potatoes, a couple of vegetables. Sangria, by the way. Unbelievable. Oh, I could have jugs of this stuff. Oh, sang me right up, I say. Oh, absolutely brilliant. If you've never had sangria, I think it's red wine and a bunch of fruit, but it is just tremendous. You're missing out if you haven't had it, is all I'm saying. Big Dom maybe Big Dom keeps Nick. I think I figured it out. Tom's onto something. I think I figured it out. So for anyone that missed this a minute ago, right? The Eagles were 10-0. Big Dom gets into a bit of a spat, gets sidelined. The Eagles go 1-5. I think what it is that Brian Johnson always wanted to call these horrible QB draw screens, like vertical plays. And Big Dom would be stood over him with his arms folded like the Big Show, like some lethal enforcer, just shaking his head and grunting, going... And Brian would go, okay, slant, okay, RPO, sorry. And now Big Dom's not there. Brian just keeps looking around, and there's no one to punish him or hold him accountable. So he's just calling out the most lethargic, useless offensive plays the world has ever seen. I think that might be it. We might have solved what's happened with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's the fact that Big Dom got suspended. 100%. You know why it won't be Denard Wilson or Jesse Winter? They got rejected for the DC. Oh, did they? Oh, for the I guess Wilson did. I'm pretty sure Denard Wilson's a friend of PSN. I'm pretty sure, like, it might be Chris. I'm pretty sure Chris is in contact with him. Was it Denard Wilson or was it the other one? There's one that we were legitimately like quite close to, and we got a lot of information about Mr. Lurie or subjective information about Mr. Lurie and involvements and what was going on at the time. So that's interesting. Maybe it wasn't Denard Wilson. Maybe was it Chris something? I don't know. We'll find out. I'll ask Chris. It wasn't my contact, so I didn't get the information, so it wasn't me. But it was a very interesting time to be at PSN. I'll tell you that for free. Doug says, I'm sure they do. The Thai government supported the development of real Thai food throughout the world. Oh, nice. Thai food is awesome. I absolutely love spice. See, I'm a wuss. I can't do spicy food. I really like anything with like jalapenos in. I really tap out. Like a chicken tikka masala, I can do that. A korma isn't spicy. But if I go to Nando's, and look, I know I'm British, I'm saying Nando's, we can get over it. If I go to Nando's, like they have like a spice meter, and you go from like mild to peri-peri to something else to something else to something else. And I'm always mild or peri-peri. I cannot go above like medium. Anything above, even Wingstop. Like we've just started getting Wingstops here, and anything above like garlicky chicken, I cannot handle. I'm really bad. What free agent our safety need? Charlie. I don't think we need Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I just don't think we do. He'll ask for too much money. He throws too many tantrums. And for a team already on the verge of collapse, it's the exact opposite of what you want at the minute, I'm afraid. Love the player. Phenomenal player. One of the best safeties in the league. But for crying out loud, you've got a defense at the minute where Darius Slay again is up to no good, retweeting himself on social media saying how well he's playing. Seth Joyner, nah, I don't know. I think Seth moans too much about modern football. I don't think he understands the game nowadays. And I know I'm not trying to be insulting. Look, either he does understand it and he says a lot of what he says for clicks and because he's in the media and because he has to, or he's just played an elite level at a time when football is a very different sport and it figures it is still that same sport. And the stuff he says is kind of reflective of big butch 4-3 defense, slam people over, and it's not. There's a bit more nuance to it, I suppose, in a way. Like, I don't know. I might be alone on that. I'm not sure. Who let Liam cook, literally? Yeah, I'm not allowed to cook many times. I mean, my favorite thing to make, genuinely, is I'll go in the fridge and I'll just get everything. Like, everything I can find. Like peppers, onions, garlic. I'll get beef, get some chicken in there, chorizo, sausage, and I'll just smash it all together, put it in a pan, stir fry it, and I'll have that. And I love it. And I couldn't tell you what it's called. I couldn't tell you what it is. It changes every time. But it works, you know, like that. There's no vibe, there's no due diligence, there's no research, there's no flavor balance. It's just vibe. Bit too much garlic? Nah, bit of paprika, bit of mixed herbs to make it look nice, you know, a bit of Salt Bay on it. Eric's in the chat. Nice to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. Top of the evening to you and the rest of the chat. 19 of you currently watching this on YouTube. If you could leave a like, that would be absolutely amazing. Again, it does help the stream grow. So if you do like what you're seeing tonight, that would be brilliant. It helps us lift through the dark ages. British food, the most dodgy of all cuisine. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, ours is bad. It's very bad. I feel like my favorite cuisine is Chinese, if that helps. I love Chinese food. Chinese food, Indian food, anything outside of that. American food, I suppose, but it's just very easy to like American food, isn't it? Like my diet's pretty much American food. Big Dom's the Undertaker. I'm telling you, the Dominator. I'm telling you, Big Dom's the reason. Big Dom is the reason. Akin Fenwick could do a job for us at some defensive position. Yeah, stick him at defensive tackle, to be fair. I mean, it can't be much worse than what we're seeing. Liam said jalapenos are spicy or not ready for Thai food. Does it get worse? I thought jalapenos was just like the signature thing that's in everything. I didn't know it got worse. I didn't know there's more. I know you do the silly pepper challenges on YouTube where you drink milk, but like I was never going to get to that level. I'll try and find the restaurant. I'll tell you what. I'll do it now because I'm intrigued now. Thai restaurant, boat. It might have closed down, but it was in Norwich. Hai Lana? No. Float. Oh, it's gone. It was a floating restaurant. Oh, that's annoying. I've just found it. Here we are. I'll share the article for everyone that is definitely interested in a Thai restaurant I went to like 5 years ago. 30 years it was there. Vagabond. Was that what it's called? Vagabond? I don't know what that's... I'm not sure what's gone on there. Wow. Okay. It was called Vagabond. Is that in the menu? I don't know if that's a menu or not. Any comments about Vagabond? No. Anyway, it was called Vagabond. But it was a Thai restaurant. That's all I know. Can't believe fun with that intro. Good catch, mate. What, my intro? Oh, you from you? Oh, I did. I put the flipping the birds intro on again. I keep doing that. You don't know Eagles history. I mean, I know Eagles present. I'm not a football historian. I couldn't tell you about the 1992 Philadelphia Eagles, for instance, like admittedly. But I can tell you that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, as a player, there's more to, what goes on the field than just physical play. And he's great as a leader. He lands himself in trouble. And the last thing you need, volatile leaders are great in stable situations because they can bring you and fire you up. As soon as it's a volatile situation, you're pouring gasoline on a fire. And it has the ability to tear the house down. And for me, it's just not a move I'd make. But I will take that over, stick to soccer. Seth Joyner won't be able to coach in today's league. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He just gives off a vibe of like, yeah, the Eagles aren't running people over anymore, man. They need to roll back the years and tackle people, and they're missing too many of these and need to blitz. And it's like, there's just a lot more to it than that. Like, they didn't lose because they're not blitzing, Seth. They lost because the coaches are incompetent, okay? They didn't lose because, they're not blitzing on third down. They're losing because Brian Johnson literally exists, Minor thought is, I've still got so many comments to get through. Bloody hell. What do you think about the running back position next? All but Gainwell are free agents. Resign Swift, sign Henry. It would be very interesting, wouldn't it? If Mike Vrabel comes in, do they bring Derrick Henry? I wouldn't mind it, but at this point, he's got more wear on his tyres than me. I don't know why I said me. Like, I've got wear on my tyres, having never played running back. But, there is just a lot of wear on his tyres now. He's not the same running back he was 4 years ago, and that's okay. But it's just not worth paying for, unless it's on a Jay Ajayi type deal. I would say that they're probably going to look to the back end of the draft or practice squads, or that's just is what they do. They'll find some value somewhere. It wouldn't genuinely. All right, my hot take would be they'll go back to Seattle again. Because Seattle are going through a coaching change. Obviously, they've got Kenneth Walker in there anyway. But they've also now got Zach Carbonara. He's in there. And realistically, contracts are coming up. Potentially an extension. New coach want to do things his way. In the same way the Bears offloaded Jordan Howard when they got Tariq Cohen, the Eagles looked for that in all the moves they make. Like DeAndre Swift was exactly the same. The Lions have their new star running back in Jahmyr Gibbs. Everyone loves him. DeAndre Swift's out in the cold. The Eagles will get him on a cheap. Jordan Howard was at one point one of the most dominant backs in the NFL. Tariq Cohen comes along. There's a new balance to the backfield. He becomes expendable. The Eagles pick him up for like a 5th-round pick. And Kenneth Walker, for me, is the heart of that Seahawks offense right now, like from a rushing perspective. As much as like Zach Carbonara is getting there, I can see them just committing to him because he needs the reps, because he's not as good, clearly. Like, he's averaging like 3 yards per carry. So they might well offload him. If a new coach comes in, like potentially it is Mike Vrabel, and potentially then Derek Henry ends up in Seattle and takes on that old Rashad Penny role. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So I think Kenneth Walker becomes expendable, and it would not surprise me to see the Eagles go after him. So there's my hot take for the running back position. Food in Rome. I was definitely not a fan. Food stands were better. See, I love street food. I agree. I think I'd much rather go for like just go to a food market or something than go for a sit-down meal at this point. And I can't tell if that's good or bad. But like a Christmas market with food, I'll tell you what, right. We're getting distracted again. Attention, span of a mosquito. But when I was in London, they had roast dinner, like Christmas dinner wraps. And it was a Yorkshire pudding. And I don't know if you have them in America, but you're missing out if you do. It was a Yorkshire pudding wrap, right? And in the Yorkshire pudding was cauliflower, veg, roast potato, beef, chicken, gravy. Oh, I've never had anything like it. It was absolutely sensational. This might have to end the stream because I'm getting a bit, so there is that. Type of bleeding floated away from Norwich. It did. It floated away. It got towed away by the council, I think. The spit you drink when you're shocked thing is true. I just did it when he says it's Indian restaurant. It's called Lando. Is your Chinese restaurant called Lionel? No, we've got a Chinese restaurant called Wing Fong. There's one in the town up from me that does the best salt and pepper chicken I've ever had in my life, and I've forgotten the name of it, and that's really annoyed me because I would have flexed it. I mean, yeah, no one knows my little Chinese takeaway. We've got one called Honeymoon that's in our town. It isn't as good, but it's all right. There's one. What is it called? I don't know. I'll Google it because I want to know. I can Google it. But they do the best salt and pepper chicken I've ever had in my life. Chinese. It's called. No, it's not that. Pagoda Wok. There you go. It's called Pagoda Wok. So there you are. In the try there, mum spaghetti. Jalapenos have a Scoville level of 3,500 to 8,000. Jesus Christ. Well, call me a Scoville level because I'm 1.2 million. I don't know, but oh dear. Seth wouldn't be as good as DC because there's a reason why stars notoriously can't coach when it comes naturally to them. They can't understand why some can't do the basics. Yeah, I'd agree. I think coaches, there's this growing stigma, isn't there, that to be a coach you have to play the position. And you look at guys like Sirianni didn't play at a pro level. I don't think Steichen did. Like, it helps. It does help, but there are coaches that come through now and GMs that come through now that haven't. They just understand the coaching philosophies better. The stuff over from India nearly put me in hospital. In inverted commas. Seth may not be a great coordinator, but he'd definitely be a great addition. Yeah, to the film room. Yeah, film room, I'll be all over it. British food's delicious, but it's mostly grey. Agree with that. It is pretty boring. How far behind? I'm almost caught up with the comments. This is also a good running back draft. Absolutely. Where do I eat with my mates? I don't really eat with my mates, to be honest. Just go drinking. Like, we don't really go out for food. Normally the golf club, because that's where my mates will always be. So we'll just go play golf and then have food up the golf club, or a pub. Like, pub food is the best. I'll tell you where we did go. Genuinely. Went to London just before Christmas and went to Richmond because me and my girlfriend had just seen Ted Lasso. And we actually went for dinner in the pub that they filmed Ted Lasso in. And you could see, like, Ted's flat from the window. You could see, like, yeah, it was just cool. Like, it was really cool. Loads of memorabilia around it, obviously. The little alleyway they filmed in is filled with shops with, like, Ted merch in that. Excuse me. So, yeah, we went in that pub. And it's probably the best roast dinner I've ever had that isn't my mum's. And I'm not just picking up my mum's roast dinner for the hell of it, but it just is a remarkable roast. I've got the hiccups. This has never happened on the stream. But it is happening now. Do we have Fox then? I don't think so. I don't think so. I can Google it, but I'm not sure. Andrew, welcome to the stream, man. So Seth will have to start at a linebacker position first. Yeah, Seth will have to coach the team. It'll be like a player coach to do both of them at one time. We couldn't resign Swift for cheap because he's had a good season. Yeah, so I could see Swift maybe moving on, to be honest with you. I think he's only on... Is he on a 1-year deal? So I could see him... I think he's on a 1-year deal, isn't he? So mate, I'm telling you now, Kenneth Walker. I'm 100% adamant. With the coaching change in Seattle, it will be Kenneth Walker. I think I can confidently guess. Does your mates watch football? Real. I love how I'm just being quick. It's like me and Battlehawk Superfan are on a date, and he's just asking me all sorts of shit. It's tremendous. So yeah, we do watch football. In terms of like American football, a few of them do. There are a couple group chats I'm in of guys that do watch it. One of my friends is a Ravens fan, which was quite cool when I got to interview Joe Flacco. For him, it was like the maddest thing ever. I've got a friend that's a Dolphins fan, a friend that's a Seahawks fan. There's a couple like local group chats that I'm in, like just in the area, people that follow it. But it is growing over here. But I think part of just me and my job being based in America is that a lot of my friends also are American. So like most of the people I talk to obviously are at PSN and they all follow football. So I'm kind of just in and around it all the time anyway. Night markets around the world generally great. Yeah, true. Very true. Liam, don't they have a full English in wrapped in your... Pretty much, yeah. I think you must be able to because mine was like a Christmas dinner version. So if you can, I'm all in. Like I need it. I know we do. There are takeaways near us that do takeaway for like roast dinners, but we can do full English breakfasts like in muffins and stuff. I've seen that before. Like eat full English burgers. You can finish a night out and get a bacon, egg, cheese, sausage burger, which is basically as good as it gets. Kenneth Walker's still on his rookie deal. See, you say that, but look at Jordan Howard. I mean, he's got how many has he got left? 2 years. I'll quickly find out. He's got 2. Is it 2 years he's got left? So that's spot track a minute. The old reliable for these contract scenarios. Where are we at? Yeah. So he's got 2 years left. So it's hardly like, you know. I mean, he's not going to get a 5th-year option. 2 years left on his contract. I could see it. I could see it. Unless it's like one of the... I know the Eagles couldn't do Jalen Hurts before a certain period. I don't think there's a rule against it. So as far as I'm aware, it'd be open season. So I can see it being Kenneth Walker. Is it TMC? Oh, I see. It was TMC. This whole time, I thought we'd had a new member of the Core 12. We've been revamped. Well then, TMC, welcome back to the show. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. It's been great getting to know your catfish account for the last hour or so. I can't lie, it's been great fun. But congratulations on the... is this the XFL merger where it's just being called... Is it the UFL it's called now? Or something? Like the United Football? Something like that, isn't it? Should we Google it? Let's find out. I'll go through my... I did a video once ranking the XFL teams. If I go on the XFL site, where are we at? XFL's NFL view announcements. What's happened here? Oh, I see. Right, it's showing players. Sorry, it would help if I actually like showed you what was going on. Here we are. Yeah, UFL. There we are. United Football League. Cool. So, here we go. A bunch of press. Media contacts. All right, maybe I'll start cooking up something. Maybe I'll start cooking something up. Who knows? So it kicks off in March. What teams are there then? Because there must be... Right, so is it the same? All right, so we got... Is it both teams or is it... Oh, there was only one overlapping market. Well, that makes... Oh, there's 2 conferences. Right. Birmingham, Houston, Memphis, Michigan, Arlington. Is Arlington in Delaware or am I making that up? Or is that something completely different? San Antonio, St. Louis. Do you know what? Of all of the teams, Battlehawks does sound the best. Having got no affiliation to any of them. But if we're to look at... I said Battlehawks does have the best logo as well. I do like the Arlington Renegades logo. They look good. That looks like something off of like NCAA when you like create a team or something. I don't know. I'll be torn between Arlington and Dallas. I take it back. I take it back. I didn't know. I thought it was in Delaware. I knew there was a D. My bad. Whoopsie daisy. Uh-oh. If you did a follower, or if you follow on website of a former Eagles tracker, I'd love it. All right, leave it with me. I can do that for you. Because there must be like the opposite, right? Are all the rosters been announced? Because I can definitely do that. And how am I supposed to know? Oh, I should, because I'm right about the Cowboys enough. I should know. I shouldn't take that defense. I'm sorry, K1. I shouldn't get mad at you. It's on me. I made a mistake. All right. Listen to that, Eagles. I made a mistake, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm accountable, and I will not make that mistake again, because that's what accountability means. And I want to end it with a quick 4-minute rant, because we've got some time, right, to spare at the end, some spare change at the end, right? The Eagles have preached. Sorry, Kay, when you've set something off in me, you've lit up a fire you didn't even know was there. All right. The Eagles have preached accountability all season, and they've preached playing to the standard all season, and they've preached it. They're not doing enough. They need to execute more all season. Yeah. Well, surely the whole premise of accountability is that you take ownership of a mistake and you learn from it and you move on. Okay. The whole reason guilt as an emotion exists is to stop you doing bad things again. Okay, if I punch you in the face and I feel bad, I might not do it again because I know I'll feel bad. And in a very narcissistic way, that's why guilt's there. All right, my therapist told me that once, so I believe her. Shout out to you, Alison. You're a saint. Okay. What point have the Eagles been accountable this year? At what stage have they been accountable this year? Because they haven't. If they've not feel guilty for bad plays, they've not feel bad for playing horrific. There's no accountability on play calling. There's no learning. What have they learned? All they've learned is that the plays don't work and they're going to try it again until it does. That doesn't mean the play works. You just bullied it into existence until it's mildly acceptable. There's no accountability. There's no learning. Yeah, you've got to be better. It starts at the top. Does it? You could have fooled me. Because the top's looking exactly the same as it has for the last 15 weeks. And on that note, before I get very carried away, we will end it there. I just had to throw that one in there. One last one. The old chap about to go off on a rant, isn't he? Unfortunately so. It had to be done, all right? Maybe accountability is the friends we made along the way. It might well be, because I've got no other explanation as to what it is. Unless it is just, code. I'll tell you what, maybe Matt Patricia has renamed the word accountability like every other fucking word on the defense. And accountability actually means pain, distress, trauma, anxiety, anger, frustration, all of the other aforementioned emotions which can be associated with following that team. Now we're going to end it. Liam saved himself with that rant. I don't know. I had to do something. I can't be saying I'm going to follow Arlington and get away with it. Exactly. I had to do something to come back from it. But on that note, guys, we are going to make like bananas and split and not go to Arlington, Texas. Thank you all for hanging out this evening. I hope you have enjoyed yourself. If you could leave a like, that would be fantastic if you haven't already. I don't know how many we're on, but again, it's the best way to help the stream. Before we go, again, if you are over the age of 21 or you're able to bet, I don't know what the age is over there, ESPN Bet, if you sign up with our code Philly, you do get yourself $50 extra for free. Sign up on ESPN Bet on your own, that's fine. But sign up with us to get $50. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know why that's a thing. We're literally the only promo code that gives you an extra $50. So make the most of it while it's there before they find out and probably take it back again, is what I would suggest. So if you want an extra $50 to bet with, sign up to ESPN Bet. And if you've already got an account, get your girlfriend, boyfriend, brother, friend, sister, parents, just get them to do it. Take their money. Game's the game. On that note, guys, I will see you Friday. I hope you have a lovely evening. Whatever it is you might be doing. Enjoy Phil's show tomorrow, trending in the AM. And I will see you on Friday for the Eagles v Bucks preview, where there will, K1, be graphics. I can promise you. I hope. Have a good night, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I love you all. Take care. Go Birds. See you later.